You ever notice how some people smile at you, but their eyes tell a different story? They say they're happy for you, but somehow every time you share your wins, the air shifts. Suddenly you feel small. You start questioning yourself, your worth, your success. And before you even realize it, you're shrinking, not because you aren't strong, but because you've been surrounded by people who prefer you weak. That's not an accident. There are people out there who feed off doubt. They live off your hesitation. They thrive when you second guess yourself, when you play small, when you tone down your shine just to make them comfortable. They'll smile while they drain you. They'll pretend it's love when it's really control. And if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day wondering how you became the version of yourself that apologizes for being powerful. But here's the truth, and it's not easy to hear. The moment you start growing, the moment you start changing, you will trigger people who refuse to do the same. They'll call you arrogant, selfish, too confident, too ambitious. They'll try to pull you back to the level where they can reach you. Because when you rise, it reminds them that they haven't moved. You see, toxic people don't just want to see you fail. They want to see you doubt yourself. Because once they own your mind, they don't need to destroy your dreams. You'll do that on your own. But today, that ends. Today, we stop apologizing for being strong. We stop shrinking so others can feel tall. We stop letting people who haven't earned our trust control how we feel about ourselves. Because if they want to see you weak, your only response should be this. Show them you are unbeatable. Not by yelling louder, not by fighting back, not by proving a point. No. You show them with your composure, your discipline, your silence, your unstoppable consistency. They can whisper, criticize, mock, manipulate, and you'll still move forward. You'll still grow. You'll still win. Because you don't fight toxic people with words. You fight them by refusing to break. And that's where this begins. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with power. Your power. The kind that can't be taken. Only surrendered. Now let's talk about why toxic people are so desperate to see you weak. And what happens when you stop playing their game. Toxic people aren't born toxic. They're built that way. They're the product of their own fears, insecurities, and unresolved pain. Somewhere along the line, they learned that the only way to feel powerful is to make others feel powerless. They manipulate, criticize, and belittle because they can't stand to face their own reflection. But here's the catch. They've become so good at it, you rarely see it coming. They don't always shout. They don't always insult you directly. Sometimes it's subtle. It's the backhanded compliment that lingers in your head for hours. It's the constant questioning of your decisions. Are you sure that's a good idea? Do you really think you can handle that? It's the sigh, the look, the tone that makes you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. Toxic people don't always come at you with aggression. Most of the time they come with doubt, quiet, consistent, and corrosive. You start to notice it when you feel tired after being around them. Not physically tired, emotionally drained. You can't quite explain why, but every conversation feels heavy. Every time you share something exciting, they manage to make it smaller. Every time you're happy, they remind you of something that could go wrong. It's like carrying invisible weight, and after a while that weight starts to feel normal. That's how they win. They make you believe that this is just how things are. What's important to understand is that toxic people see strength as a threat. Your confidence exposes their insecurity. Your peace highlights their chaos. Your growth forces them to confront the part of themselves that refuses to evolve. And rather than doing the work to rise with you, they'd rather pull you back down. They'll disguise it as concern. They'll tell you they're just being honest when in reality they're planting seeds of self-doubt. When you start to level up, maybe you're improving your health, your career, your mindset, suddenly they become distant or critical. You'll hear things like, "You've changed," but what they really mean is you've stopped letting me control you. The moment you create distance from toxicity, it will scream louder. It wants to pull you back. Toxic people don't want you better. They want you dependent. And the most dangerous thing, sometimes these people are the ones closest to you. Family, Friends, colleagues, people who have access to your vulnerabilities. That's why it hurts so much. It's not the random stranger's opinion that breaks you. It's when someone you love uses your weaknesses as ammunition. They know where to aim. They've been collecting your insecurities like weapons, waiting for the perfect time to strike. And when they do, it feels personal. Because it is. But here's the truth. Their toxicity isn't really about you. It's about control. It's about them needing to feel significant, even if that means stepping on someone else to do it. Their validation comes from dominance. Their confidence comes from comparison. The less you believe in yourself, the more powerful they feel. They're not looking for growth. They're looking for someone to absorb their pain so they don't have to deal with it themselves. Have you ever noticed how toxic people are never wrong? They'll twist stories, rewrite history, and convince you that you're the one who overreacted. They play victim so well that you start to wonder if you're the problem. That's not confusion. That's manipulation. It's a psychological tactic designed to make you question your reality. Once they control your perception, they control you. They don't need to physically trap you. They trap you mentally. And when you start catching on, when you start pulling away, they'll change tactics. Suddenly they're kind again. They'll say all the right things, promise to change, act like they finally understand. But that kindness isn't growth, it's strategy. It's a temporary act to reel you back in. Once you let your guard down, the cycle restarts. The only way to break it is to stop expecting them to change. You can't fix someone who gets comfort from being toxic. Toxic people want reaction. That's their fuel. The more you react, the more control they gain. It doesn't matter if it's anger, sadness, or guilt. Any emotional response feeds their ego. That's why they'll push buttons that they know will get to you. They study your patterns. They know what words will make you defensive, what tone will make you explain yourself, what silence will make you anxious. They're experts at emotional manipulation because they've been practicing it their entire lives. So what do? You stop feeding them. You stop giving them your reaction, your energy, your peace. You start observing instead of absorbing. When you see their behavior for what it is, a desperate attempt to feel significant, it loses its power. You start realizing that their chaos doesn't belong to you. Their bitterness isn't your burden. You stop trying to make them like you, respect you, understand you, because you finally see that their validation was never real to begin with. When you understand the nature of toxic people, something powerful happens. You stop taking it personally. You stop blaming yourself for their behavior. You realize that their hate isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their fear. People who are secure in themselves don't need to destroy others. People who are happy don't need to hurt. Once you see that clearly, you begin to take back control. You learn to recognize manipulation not as a personal failure, but as a sign of your growing strength. You start setting limits. You stop explaining your boundaries. You stop defending your decisions. You stop apologizing for walking away from people who refuse to stop bleeding on you. The most dangerous thing to a toxic person isn't your anger, it's your peace. When you stay calm, when you stay focused, when you refuse to engage in their drama, they lose their power over you. They'll try harder at first, but eventually they'll look for easier prey. They always do. Because the truth is, toxic people don't want strong people, they want easy ones. And once they realize they can't break you, they move on. So don't waste your breath trying to make them understand who you are. Show them through your strength, through your silence, through your refusal to shrink. Let them see that the version of you they once manipulated no longer exists. You've outgrown their reach. You've seen through their game. And the moment you understand what you're dealing with, you stop playing it altogether. Because you can't win against someone who's addicted to your weakness. The only way to win is to stop giving them access to it. You don't owe them closure, explanation, or forgiveness. You owe yourself peace, and that's exactly what you take back. The moment you stop letting their toxicity define how you see yourself. They wanted to see you weak. Instead, you learn to become untouchable. Emotional control is the highest form of strength. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about deciding who and what gets to move you. Because let's be honest, most people aren't destroyed by what happens to them. They're destroyed by how they react to what happens. Toxic people know this. That's why their entire strategy revolves around pushing you until you break. They don't have real power, only the power you give them through your reaction. Think about the times someone made you angry, insulted you, or tried to humiliate you. The moment you raised your voice, the moment you snapped back, the moment you felt your heart race, they won. Not because they were right, but because they got you to lose control. They got you to play their game. And that's all they need. That emotional chaos. Once you're reactive, you're no longer thinking clearly. You're not acting with purpose. You're acting out of pain. And that's when they strike. But imagine this. Someone tries to provoke you, and instead of reacting, you just look at them, calm, composed, unbothered. You don't explain yourself. You don't justify. You don't try to prove anything. You simply stand in your own silence. That's power. Because when you stop reacting, you take away their favorite weapon, your emotions. Control doesn't mean you don't feel hurt. It doesn't mean you don't get angry or frustrated. It means you've learned how to process those emotions before you let them dictate your behavior. You've learned to pause, to breathe, to observe. Because emotions are like storms. If you wait them out, they always pass. But if you act in the middle of them, you'll destroy everything in sight, including yourself. You have to understand that toxic people study your reactions. They know exactly how to make you flinch. They'll use guilt, shame, or anger to corner you. They'll throw words at you like weapons, waiting for that one phrase that breaks your calm. But here's the secret. The more you refuse to give them that reaction, the more control you gain. Every time you stay calm in the face of chaos, you train your mind to become stronger. You become unpredictable, and that terrifies them. When you master emotional control, you start seeing through manipulation. You recognize when someone's trying to bait you. You see how arguments are designed to pull you into emotional exhaustion. You begin to notice that most toxic people don't want solutions, they want attention. They thrive when you engage. So stop feeding them what they crave. When you withdraw your emotional response, they have nothing left to feed on. You're not cold, you're strategic. You're protecting your peace, and that's sacred. Think about the most powerful people in history, leaders, warriors, visionaries. They all had one thing in common, composure. They could face criticism, chaos, even betrayal, and still think clearly. Why? Because emotion clouds judgment. It makes you impulsive. It makes you forget your values. But when you master control, you see everything clearly. Who's for you, who's against you, and who's just testing your limits. You don't need to raise your voice when your presence speaks for itself. There's a difference between reaction and response. Reaction is emotional, it's instinctive, defensive, chaotic. Response is intentional. It's measured, calm, powerful. Reaction gives away power. Response reclaims it. So when someone provokes you, don't respond immediately. Pause, feel the emotion, acknowledge it, and then decide how to act. That pause, that moment of stillness, is where your strength lives. You'll notice this in your relationships, in your career, in your daily interactions. People will test you. Intentionally or not, they'll say something that hits a nerve, and you'll feel that surge inside, the need to defend, to fight, to prove. That's the moment you breathe. That's the moment you remember the person who controls the emotion, controls the outcome. The one who stays calm wins. Toxic people can't survive in peace. They need conflict. They need drama. They need you to react because it reminds them they matter. The moment you stop reacting, you take away their identity. You become like a mirror, reflecting their behavior without absorbing it. You stop carrying their emotions, and that drives them insane. Because now they can't predict you. They can't manipulate you. They can't move you. You become a force, solid, centered, unshakable. But don't confuse control with suppression. Suppression is when you bury emotions so deep they rot inside you. Control is when you acknowledge them and choose how to release them. You might channel that anger into focus, that pain into purpose, that frustration into progress. You transmute emotion into energy. And that's how you grow. That's how you become unstoppable. Start practicing emotional control in small moments. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when someone interrupts you, when you feel disrespected, instead of reacting, pause. Ask yourself, what do I lose by staying calm? The answer is always nothing. You never lose by staying composed, but you lose everything when you let someone else dictate your behavior. The greatest freedom you'll ever experience is emotional independence, the ability to remain at peace regardless of what others do or say. When you reach that point, no one can control you anymore. You stop needing apologies, explanations, or validation. You stop chasing closure because you understand that peace isn't something you find in others. It's something you build within yourself. Toxic people will call you detached. They'll say you've become distant, emotionless, arrogant. That's not detachment, that's discipline. You've simply stopped bleeding for people who keep cutting you. You've stopped wasting your energy on people who don't deserve it, and that makes you powerful, beyond measure. Because here's the truth. Emotional control is your armor. It protects your energy, your confidence, your clarity. Without it, you're exposed to every attack, but with it, you become untouchable. Words can't pierce you, manipulation can't reach you, chaos can't shake you. You walk through storms and remain centered. You become the calm inside the storm, not because the world is peaceful, but because you are. When you master emotional control, people feel it. They sense that they can't move you. They realize their tactics don't work anymore. You'll notice something beautiful happen. The wrong people will start to fade away. The ones who relied on your reactions will lose interest. The ones who respected you will rise to meet your energy. Your environment shifts because your energy shifts. You no longer respond to toxicity. You outgrow it. You stop trying to fight fire with fire because you've learned to become water. Still, strong, unstoppable. You flow around obstacles instead of crashing into them. That's what control gives you: freedom. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this: the loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. The calmest one usually is. Let them scream, gossip, provoke. Let them throw their chaos your way. Smile, breathe, and keep moving, because your silence, your composure, your control, that's your message. It says you can't reach me anymore. That's the power they'll never understand, and the one they'll never take from you. Fortitude isn't built in comfort. It's forged in discomfort, in uncertainty, in the quiet moments when no one's watching and you have every reason to quit. But don't. Mental and emotional fortitude is not something you're born with. It's something you earn through pressure, failure, and persistence. It's the armor you build when life tests you again and again. And instead of breaking, you adapt. Every challenge, every betrayal, every disappointment, it all becomes material for your strength. That's how real resilience is formed. There will always be moments when you feel like giving up, when your mind tells you it's too hard, when your emotions scream that you can't take another step. That's the moment that separates those who endure from those who collapse. Because fortitude isn't about never feeling weak. It's about pushing forward even when you do. It's about refusing to let pain define your limits. You don't run from the struggle, you walk straight through it, knowing it's shaping you into something unbreakable. When life throws you into chaos, you have two choices: surrender or strengthen. Weakness will whisper that you're not enough, that you'll never get through it. But strength whispers louder: keep going. That inner voice, that quiet determination, is where fortitude begins. It's not loud or flashy. It's steady. It's in the decision to wake up one more day and face whatever comes. It's in the choice to believe that every storm you've survived has prepared you for this moment. To build real mental toughness, you have to start with your mind. Your thoughts are the foundation of your strength. Every single day, your brain will feed you doubts, and you get to decide which ones you listen to. If your inner dialogue is filled with, I can't, I'm not good enough, this is too much, then you're building weakness. But if you train yourself to respond with, I've been through worse, I can handle this, this is just another test, then you're building power. You're programming your brain for resilience. Start paying attention to how you speak to yourself. Would you let someone talk to your best friend the way you talk to yourself? Probably not. So stop letting that inner critic dominate your thoughts. Every time you catch yourself thinking in defeat, interrupt it. Replace it. Rewire it, because your mind listens to you more than anyone else does. And it believes every word. You can't become strong if you constantly feed yourself weakness. Fortitude also requires emotional discipline. It's not about avoiding emotion, it's about learning to manage it. Life will test you emotionally before it tests you physically. You'll be betrayed by people you trusted, hurt by those you loved, rejected by opportunities you wanted. Each of those moments will tempt you to give in to bitterness, to shut down, to let the world harden you. But fortitude isn't about closing off, it's about staying open without breaking. It's about feeling the pain, acknowledging it, but refusing to let it consume you. You build emotional strength by facing emotions, not running from them. When you're angry, learn to channel it into focus. When you're sad, use that pain as a reminder of your depth, your capacity to care. When you're disappointed, let it fuel your persistence. Every emotion has energy. Fortitude means learning how to use that energy wisely. You don't let emotions dictate your path. You let them guide you toward understanding. You turn pain into power. Discipline is another cornerstone of fortitude. Motivation will come and go, but discipline will carry you through the days you don't feel like moving. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's doing the work, the hard work, consistently. Discipline is what keeps your fortitude alive. Because the truth is, strength is not built in grand moments, it's built in the small, quiet choices you make every single day. There will be times when people underestimate you, when they mock your consistency, when they tell you that you're wasting your time. Let them. They don't understand what you're building. You're not chasing validation. You're building character. Every small act of self-control, every hard choice, every bit of patience, it's all stacking up. It's creating the kind of strength that can't be faked. Physical challenges also play a massive role in developing mental and emotional resilience. Push your body and your mind follows. When you train your body to endure, you train your mind to persist. Whether it's through exercise, cold exposure, or pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. Physical discipline teaches your brain one powerful truth: you can handle discomfort. And once you believe that, nothing can break you easily. The world will test your strength in subtle ways. It will throw inconveniences, losses, and unfairness at you. You'll encounter people who betray you, who try to humiliate you, who hope to see you fail. But mental fortitude means refusing to be defined by what happens to you. It means deciding that no matter what, you will not fold. You will not become bitter. You will not lose yourself trying to please others. You will stand tall even when you're standing alone. There's a quote that says, "A calm sea never made a skilled sailor." It's true. The rough waters, the storms, the nights when you feel like you're drowning, that's where the skill is born. Every difficult situation you've survived has already proven your strength. You're still here. That means you've already overcome everything that once threatened to destroy you. And that's proof of your fortitude. Start celebrating your endurance instead of only your achievements. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just surviving another day with grace. It's holding your head up when everything in you wants to collapse. It's smiling when your heart is heavy. It's continuing to believe in goodness when life gives you every reason not to. That's true power. And here's the most important part. Fortitude doesn't make you invincible. It makes you unstoppable. You'll still feel fear, pain, and doubt, but none of it will control you. You'll learn to walk with fear instead of running from it. You'll learn to bend under pressure without breaking. You'll learn that your limits are not fixed. They're mental. Once you realize that, you become limitless. Building mental and emotional fortitude is a lifelong practice. It's not about perfection. You'll have days when you stumble, when your emotions get the best of you, when your thoughts spiral. That's okay. Fortitude isn't about never falling, it's about getting back up faster each time. It's about learning from the fall and using it to climb higher. So, the next time life tests you, don't curse the challenge. Thank it. Because every test is a teacher, every struggle is a workout for your soul. You're becoming stronger than you were yesterday. You're building endurance. You're shaping a mind that can't be easily broken and a heart that refuses to quit. Toxic people and life's hardships will always exist. But once you've built real fortitude, they can't touch you. They can throw chaos your way, but you'll stay centered. They can doubt you, but you'll stay focused. They can try to break you, but you'll only rise stronger. Because that's what fortitude is, the silent, unshakable belief that no matter what happens, you will not be defeated. You may bend, but you won't break. You may fall, but you'll always rise. You've survived everything that was meant to destroy you, and that's proof.